Hello and hello and welcome to this Google Hangout show. My name is Maria Appelqvist. I live in Sweden and I created this show as a way to open up the platform for the things we usually don't speak about. And today I have Erika Liremark here with me in studio. Welcome, Erika.
Thank you. You say my last name better than I do.
I practiced. I practiced. Erika is a business coach and she has a whole experience in building business and she built a multi-million company together with her father. She's the author of a book, Think Like a Stripper, and she's been featured in many different magazines and journals. So I'm very honored to have you here today, Erika.
I'm excited to be here.
Yeah. And yeah, why don't we just start there? Because I'm all about bringing out awareness of the importance of we start to speak about how sex and money is all related and how it impact our leadership and what it also means to bring it out in business. So when I found your book, Think Like a Stripper in Business, I was really delighted. So like, can we just start there? Like, how did it all start for you?
Writing the book or?
No, actually going in there. Yes.
Oh, stripping?
Yes.
Stripping?
Because people do it, but they don't speak about it. But you actually wrote a book about it.
Yes, I spent 4 years writing a book about it.
Yeah.
I tortured myself for 4 years to get my story out. It started in Seattle, Washington in around 1991. I think that was the year. And I was 21 years old. And I had a lot of friends who were strippers. And I tended to run around with kind of like the underground, subculture group of people. And I had a lot of friends who were strippers and they really liked doing it. And I was trying to raise some money for school, the school that I wanted to go to. And I thought about it for a year and, really thought about it. Like, what would that mean in the present moment? What would that mean for the future? Would I be risking, would I be screwing up my potential future by stripping? What if someone found out, etc.? But I decided that what stripping would give me besides the money is that it would give me a ton of courage and it would help increase my confidence in myself and my confidence in business and selling. And I knew that if I could do that, I could do anything in life and that I would always be able to look back on, oh yeah, this is a challenge, but yeah, I was a stripper. So this has got nothing on me.
Oh, that's cool. Let's stop there and make a halt here because I think this is really important. Like you were saying, you're spending a whole year on making a conscious, deliberate choice.
Yes.
And decision, like what would it give me to go in there? So you were actually really conscious, and before you were taking the leap. And this is really important because I think in a lot of time people are not making conscious choices, but here you're telling this a whole year you were considering this.
Yeah. I mean, I made out a list, pros and cons, and I realized that the pros outweighed the cons. I mean, it was just like the kind of person that was going to help me become was bigger than the risk of, the dangers of working in a strip club, the dangers of that industry, my parents finding out what society might say about me. And I'm, admittedly, I'm someone who's always loved the dark side. Like whenever my parents said, don't do that, I was like, why? I'm doing that, So I've always been very edgy and very progressive, my whole life and really open-minded. So, yeah, it was definitely scary to start doing it. And I never imagined that I would do it for 9 years. I thought I would be 2 years max and then I would be done.
And I imagine you also had to learn new skills. You had to learn new things in order to step in there, right?
Oh yeah, because a lot of people think that if you're stripping, that all you have to do is show up and jiggle around a little bit and people are going to be throwing $100 bills at you. And it's not the truth. I mean, at least that was never, maybe that happens for some strippers. That never happened for me. I always had to work very hard for my money. And you know, that you have a lot of beautiful women that you're competing against, women that really know how to hustle and they know how to sell. And it's a, you know, it's a very cutthroat, underhanded industry. And it's, you know, it's totally okay to lie, cheat, and steal, you know, to your customers to make money. I mean, that's kind of the name of the game. You know, when you go into a strip club, hang on to your wallet because you might leave without it. So yeah, I had to really, really learn. And I would say that it took me a good 2 to 3 years to really learn how to sell. And then towards the end, I got so good at selling that I could actually get away with working less hours and making just as much money. When I first started, I was insane. I would work 6-7 days a week. I would go in at 11 in the morning. I would stay till 2 in the morning, you know, and I was just a total maniac. Like, I was like, I can't leave. Like, I could make $100 if I stay another hour or another half an hour. And so I didn't work very smart in the beginning, you know, I was learning the ropes, but towards the end, I would go in and I would work like, you know, like a 3 or 4 hour shift.
This is so interesting because there is, seems to be, and that's also your argument in your book, is the similarities between being a stripper and being in a business. Because here's coming the next argument. You were saying it took me 2-3 years before you actually learned to sell. And that I think a lot of entrepreneurs is also finding it takes time to retrain your brain and your mind and your whole being in who you need, how you need to show up and how you need to be in order to be successful in selling. So let's go there. Like, what's the learning around selling?
Well, you have to learn how to communicate with people. And you know, working in a strip club, you could, you know, transactional selling definitely works. Working in a strip club, and that's, you know, because I never wanted to have like sugar daddies, and I never really wanted regular customers. I just kind of wanted to like get in and get out and make my money. But you have to learn how to be fun and assertive, but not too assertive. And you have to make people want to give you their money. I mean, you can't just go in and, you know, get a gun out and be like, give me your money. You have to, you know, you have to like seduce it out of them. People will not give you their money just because they like you. You know, even if I go to like my husband and I'm like, give me $5, he'd be like, what's for? He doesn't just be like, here. He's like, what for? But if I say, give me a hug, he's like, okay. You know, so everybody's very stingy with their money and they hang on to it. So you have to really make it fun for people. And that's always been one of my favorite, you know, selling tips. I started out Think Like a Stripper, talking about, you know, when I was bringing the energy, when I was having fun, when I was making jokes with people. It's like people, they let their guard down, and it's fun for me, and then it's fun for them. And then money is kind of like an afterthought because everybody's in the moment and they're focused on having fun, and everybody's kind of like caught up. And then, you know, when I went to work in commercial real estate, it was the same thing. Like, you have to make business fun because people are just, they're way too serious. And, you know, be serious about doing a good job and delivering high quality products and services. But, you know, how you get there, how you work with people, how you show up, you know, business should be fun.
And that's really what I'm feeling that you're representing also as a business coach, is to help women create a relationship to their business that is based on play and fun, and also seeing that it is a relationship that you have to cultivate, just like you're cultivating relationships in real life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I have a relationship with my husband, and if I stay out on Friday night and I don't come home, you know, like, we're gonna have a problem. So it's the same in business. If I like don't do any marketing and I just like, oh, I don't feel like doing that right now, like, we're gonna have a problem. You know, everybody that's in business, it's like the world is moving so fast, and no matter how great you are, you have to stay front and center. And there's a tip in Think Like a Stripper, and it's called Be Queen of Your Domain. And it's like, never lose your marketing and your sales hustle. I look at somebody like Madonna, who, you know, has been the queen of pop since the 1980s. And she's still producing, she's still creating, she's still putting out albums. I heard an interview once where she said she works out 4 hours a day. 4 hours a day. And she's like, I'm Madonna. It's part of my job to be in great shape. That's part of what I'm selling. It's not just the music, it's the whole vibe. So if she decides that, yeah, you know, she's got that song, Bitch, I'm Madonna. Bitch, I'm Madonna. I don't need to hustle. I don't need to market. I don't need to promote myself. Well, especially in this day and age, everything's moving so fast. Like someone's just going to come in and, you know, wipe her out. So, but that's the fun part, because it's fun to create and it's fun to market and it's fun to reinvent yourself. And, you know, like back to Madonna, it'll be really interesting to see what she continues to do as she, you know, she's in her 50s now, as she moves into her 60s and her 70s, and, you know, how is she going to continue to dominate? And, you know, she just has this relentlessness about her, but also I'm sure she's having a lot of fun. I'm sure she's not sitting around crying her eyeballs out. You know, she's enjoying the process and really bringing that fun and energy.
Yeah. And that's another thing, is the whole time you're having these analogies to fashion industries, to branding and brands that we all know, like Madonna, Chanel, all these using their whole how would you say, brands we all recognize and know, and that becomes part of the teaching, and how you're bringing that out. And how you know, how did you find that as an access point for your teaching? And we find it in your blog posts.
Yeah.
Part of who you are. Like, how did you find that voice?
You know, I started looking at magazines when I was in the 3rd grade. So some, you know, young girls had like boys Duran Duran posters all over. I had like Valentino and Chanel and Yves Saint Laurent, and this was in W Magazine. It was like really huge, and so these would be like, my whole room was like, I would just swap them out like a giant Pinterest board. So I've always been attracted to branding and marketing, and I remember like when I first started looking at Vogue, and I was like, I don't understand. This magazine is $3.50, but it's all advertising. Where are the articles? You know, I'm like, I wanted to read. And then I finally get like, oh, that's part of the fun, because the advertisements are so beautiful. So I've just always had a real curiosity about advertising and branding and fashion. And, you know, fashion design was one of my first loves. I learned to sew when I was little. I would make my dog clothes, and I learned to make myself clothes, and I took lots of sewing classes in high school. And then I actually have a degree in apparel design. So I can literally sew anything. And so it was just really giving myself permission of like, these are the things that I want to talk about. These are the things that I'm curious about. And so what I write now on my site, on my blog and articles, is I write things that I'm curious about, things that I'm interested in, because I'm learning and growing. And if I just write about things that I already understand, like, you know, the power of positive thinking, like that gets boring for me. Like, I don't want to keep reinventing things that I've already overcome. So part of my business is that I bring everybody on the journey that I'm on. And I have a real curiosity about who owns who, and investment, how investment works in the fashion industry. And so I'm always like on Google, you know, like who owns this company and who are the investors and what are shares going for? And I just have a real curiosity. And so it's just part of that. It's like, I want to create a brand and a business where I'm equally as excited about what's happening on my website as the readers are.
That's a fascinating, I think that's fascinating idea, which I probably haven't thought about myself, because sometimes you write about things you just previously learned in order to share it as a part of teaching, but you're actually doing your research and sharing your experience where you are right now.
Yeah, and the stuff that I teach in my courses, like Lyramark Business Design, otherwise known as LBD, that stuff, like that's me from like 5 years ago. Like that stuff I've already learned. So, and you know, I've got a course coming out called Elegant Hustling. It's a revamp of a course. I used to have a hustling course I used to have. And so that's all stuff I already know. Like I've already got that mastered, that's already down, but that's part of my, you know, my business model is teaching what I've already learned, but the things that are coming up on my site, you know, like I have a new article coming out called, well, I haven't named it yet, but it's about Christian Louboutin, and he's got his new lipstick coming out, and it's starting at like $90 for a tube of lipstick, and it's like one of the most expensive lipsticks on the market, and all the hoopla, and I mean, like, that kind of stuff is really exciting for me.
And that's a part of the exciting, what you're saying is also how you, because here we come to the sales conversation again, like when you're having a strong brand, people will actually come back and buy from you, because if they purchase once, they are going to continue come back, even though you have a $90 lipstick. Because everybody knows you can get something for 10 or even 5.
Yeah.
Right? So there is this, the power it means to actually master a branding fully that attracts you. How do you create it, and how do you get there, right?
Yeah, well, I think it's about keeping yourself interested and keeping yourself fascinated. So, you know, Christian Louboutin, when he started, he only was selling like a couple hundred pairs a year. And that was in the 1990s, and he's just continued to push the envelope for himself. And again, I'm speaking for him. I don't really know for sure. I'm just, you know, guessing what I've seen from the outside. But I think it's just about keeping yourself interested and keeping yourself fascinated with your own craft and with your own art. And, you know, what can I create that has never been created before? That I've never created before? And I think that's where people get stuck. And that's kind of where we're at, is a lot of people are just regurgitating the same stuff, and they're not bringing anything new to the table. So my team and I, we're always having this conversation. We're always asking ourselves, what are we adding to the conversation? What's new? And once we started to ask ourselves that last year, that's where the articles coming out about that linking, someone called it Vogue meets Harvard Business Review meets personal inspiration. And when I saw that, I was like, oh, thank you, that's so kind. And it was just, you know, worked so hard to, you know, create a voice, and, you know, doing the research, and, you know, like putting those articles together takes a really, really long time. And, you know, a lot goes into those. And it's not just those blog posts that I just like write up on a Sunday and publish on a Sunday night. You know, they can take months and months to create. And so it's really giving yourself permission to add something new to the conversation. And also, I think that people are too obsessed with business goals. I mean, yes, you have your revenue goals. That's, of course, you're in business. You have to, you know, you're here to make money. Let's not be stupid. But I also think that making creative goals. So that's what I have for myself now, is like, yes, I have my business goals, but I also have creative goals. Like, how can I say this better? Or how can I push the envelope? Or what can I do that has never been done before? And, you know, like at the end of the day, I'm a business coach and mentor and consultant. But if you go to my website, ericalyramark.com, it looks, you know, it's like very fashion-y. It's very progressive. I ask a lot of provocative questions, because that's a reflection of who I am. I've always been extremely provocative. And so I really think it's giving yourself permission to just kind of explore and experiment on the back end. And then when you get to that level of like, you know what, I'm ready to go public with this experimentation, now I'm going to hit publish, and then not backing down. Like, maybe people don't pay attention right away. Maybe people don't really think anything of it. But if you love it, and you feel good about it, and you feel like you're expanding the concept of yourself, then you have to keep going.
Exactly. And I get a sense that when you're posting something today, that some people are actually waiting for your next post.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah, we get read it. I'm sure it is, because I really feel that you have found your own style of writing, but also
Yes.
finding your voice. And I think that's maybe this is the biggest struggle a lot of self-employed business owners has, is how to find their voice and how to find their compelling message.
Yeah. Well, I think, with the compelling message is you just have to, for me, it's never just one thing. I mean, there's lots of things that I'm excited about, but I really think it's about, what do you want to see in the world? What is it that you see that's missing? And just, refining it and refining it and refining it. And I also think that people are lazy and they give up too soon. And creating art is, it takes a long time. And I mean, at least for me, like I started my coaching business in 2005, 10 years, started blogging in 2008. Really to bring it all, like when I think of like all the perspectives of me, like there's the nerdy me, there's the provocative me, there's the sexy me, there's the geeky me, there's the fashion me, there's like the yoga me, the meditation me, the academic, the investor Erica, to bring all of those together. I mean, it's since 2008, and I write almost every single day. And I also have an incredible team to help me pull everything together. So, I've really busted my butt to create the art that I've created. And you just have to keep at it. If it's something that speaks to you, if you see yourself as an artist, if you see yourself as a creative person, as a designer, as an architect, you just have to keep at it. And it's beneath the layer and the next 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 layer. And you'll know, this exciting thing is you'll know when you hit publish or you create your art and you don't care if anybody sees it, because you're just so damn excited of what you've created and what you've pulled together that it's like your own baby. Like my dog, like I don't care if anyone likes my dog, like I love my dog. He's the best dog ever, like we have our own little thing going on. So it really becomes this intimate experience that you're then willing to share with the rest of the world, but total unattachment.
That's really I love that perspective on how to understand business, and you were also saying the piece of art, like there is an art of creation. And I'm thinking a lot of time in business, people are into all this pushing forward. And I don't know if I'm speaking, I'm using the frame of reference of masculine or feminine energy.
Yeah.
And we, as human beings, we have both of them, right? But there is so much appreciation in our world for being in the masculine and being active and driven and pushing, and there's a lot of action that needs to happen. But the feminine is so much more of relaxing, resting, listening inwards, and bringing that art of you out in the world. So there's, for me, it's whole like two different ways of being, and at the same time we need to find a balance as in order to progress in business, because we have to do a lot of actions also. But there is something about the energy of what we bring in there, like you were saying, like the plainest, having fun, which is part of the communication, is how you relate to other people. So when you're coming from that energy, and I think here's something that is related to our sexuality, and I'm getting the frame of reference that a lot of people who are successful in the world are very open around their sexuality. They haven't put lids on themselves, and are more expressive. So I'm sensing there is something here that is really related to how full expressive you can be when it comes from the inner core of you, of who you are. So do you have something to speak to that inner core of, you know, knowing yourself from your sexual part and bringing that out in your business?
Well, it's something that I don't really think about because it's something that is, it's so innate to me. Like I was curious about sex since as long as I can remember. I was always asking questions. And so I would say that, you know, in comparison to my peer group and, you know, people that I know, I would say that I was more curious about sexuality and sex from a very young age, and, you know, was more vocal about it. But I think that it's also about, you know, the willingness to express yourself. And so if you think about, you know, the masculine and the feminine energy, if we think of a man and a woman having sex, it's not fun if the woman just lays there and doesn't do anything. If she's like a limp fish, you know? And, you know, a man wants to know that what he's doing is being received. And just, you know, the same thing for a woman. She doesn't want a man just to, like, you know, not do anything. And so I think it's not about whether it's masculine or feminine, but I see it as like a wave, you know. When you're going down, you're the man. When you're going up, you're the woman. When you're going down, you're the masculine, and you're going up, you're the feminine. And so it's this constant balancing act. And one of the things that I've had to learn for myself is that, and this taking off the sexuality piece of it, the sex piece of it, but when I'm working, you know, I ask myself, am I present? Am I fully here? Or am I just like trying to hurry up and get it done? And if I have this hurry up and try to get it done, like that is that super hardcore masculine energy. And then it's totally out of balance. Same thing as if like, oh, I'm just going to lay on my couch and hope something good happens to me today, you know, then that's totally out of balance. So it's more like about effortless action. So you're moving, but it's more like a, you know, when you see someone who can really, really dance and you lose track of that it's a human being because you're so involved in the dance. And that's how I see, you know, creation. You know, it's the same thing when you're having, you know, a great sexual encounter. You're so in the present moment, you're not even aware that your hair is like sticking out over here, or, you know, like your thigh looks extra large, like the way that it's laid, you know, on the bed or whatever. You're not even thinking about any of that. You're just so in the present moment. So for me, I don't ask, am I out of balance? I ask myself, am I in the present moment? Does this action that I'm taking feel effortless? And if it doesn't, then I find a way to go slow myself down. Like I walk my dog and I walk very slowly, and I can, you know, feel my feet and the backs of my knees and, you know, my lower back. And I just kind of slow the energy down. And when I do that, you know, you can just really feel, you can just feel.
Yeah, exactly. Like now, like that stillness.
Yeah.
This is a wonderful conclusion, Erika. So when people like to find you, where do they go?
Well, if you want to, I have a million domain names, but I have a domain name addiction. I'm not kidding. Because we don't have my lower screen. If they want to get my book, they can go to thinklikeastripper.com. If they want to go to my main website, they can go to dailywhip.com. They could also go to whipsmartbusiness.com, or if they can figure out how to spell my name, they can go to erikaliremark.com.
Thank you. Thank you very much. And we also have it here available under this YouTube.
Oh, okay.
That will be available in the windows. It's there,
okay, great.
Your address. thank you very, very much. I'm very
you.
happy for having you here. It's
Thank
very
you.
exciting. Thank you very much. Thank you. And with that, we are finally in our conclusion mood for today. And I don't have anything scheduled for next week yet, but hopefully we will soon. So stay in touch. And I'm looking forward to meet you all soon again. Bye-bye.
Okay.